Мы продолжаем. В прошлой серии неплохо так погудели. Хорошая серия была. Ладно, пойдем туда отоспимся. Так, где наша корчма? Вот она как раз неподалеку. И сейчас по-быренькому дойдем. Только я, конечно, бегать не могу. Потому что немножко пьяненький на Шиндра. Сегодня уже будем добивать, наверное, дополнительные задания. Тоже парочку выполним. Дальше, я думаю, уже заняться основным сюжетом.
Greetings to you. How can I help?
I need a place to sleep and something to eat.
It would be an honor, good sir. And for how long?
I'll just stay the night.
No problem, but you'll pay in advance.
Agreed. I'll pay. Here's your groschen.
Agreed then. The room's yours. You're going to like it here, sir. The rooms are clean and a cauldron of good food to go with them.
Ну и хорошо, так, давай немножко
Show me
еды,
your
кстати,
wares.
купим. Так, вот как раз говядину купим, пусть будет.
I was glad to be of help to you, good sir.
Так,
What are you
надо
here
еще
for,
шнапса купить, потому
friend?
что вдруг кого-нибудь лечить придется.
Show me your wares.
Что вещь хорошая.
I'm glad you found what you were looking for, sir.
Так, отличненько, можно сходить поесть тогда. И дальше уже двигаться в путь.
Christ, so much dust. Christ, where did I put it?
Так, я думаю, хватит, наверное. Так, куда нам вообще надо? Погнали, кстати, сходим. Сюда, получается. Блин, не могу совершить быстрый переход. Это плохо. Что за дела такие? Я уже застрял, да? Ладно, ничего страшного. Так, подожди-ка, где он находится? Как его зовут? Гавил, все понятно, хорошо. Так, мне корчмаря надо найти, я так понял, да? Где он тут? А вот.
Pavel, the owner of the local inn, I assume?
That I am. How can I help you?
When I asked where I should go in this city for good wine, your inn was recommended.
You've come to the right place. You won't find better wine in this city. Have you come from far away?
Very far, Goodman. I'm Henry, and I rarely hear my name spoken in my native tongue.
Mine has an unusual ingredient in it. Let's see if you can tell what it is.
I travelled around France.
Wonderful. It's not often I get the chance to talk to someone so well-traveled. It'd be nice to have someone to discuss the drink of kings with.
An invitation I can't refuse. Thank you.
Well, good man, how shall we begin our tasting? Ah, I know. How about a little white to begin with?
Excellent.
Блин, я в той серии побухал и опять бухаю.
So,
Синдрих вообще
what do you say to
свяжет.
that?
Hints of vanilla. That's uncommon. And I have to say, that greenish spring colour is perfect.
You're right. A rare flavor and color tone. It's essentially a lighter wine. I like it because it's suitable for many occasions. When I don't know what to serve, I pull out a Moravian white. My father-in-law loves it. He'll be a blessed 70 years old this year, so I'm giving him a few casks to make his old age a little merrier.
That's very kind of you.
There's nothing but misers in this town. They wouldn't think twice about taking their own mother's last piece of bread. I'm not like that. Do I have money? Of course. But I don't hoard it. I try to make people around me happy.
And you're treating me to this wine. You're a real Samaritan, and like it says in the Bible. You give drink to the thirsty.
Anyway, let's have a cup of something else.
My thoughts exactly.
What shall we... Ah, I know. Let's have some red. How about a young Blaufränkisch from Austria? Or as we call it in Bohemia, Blue Frankovka.
From you, Goodman, anything. Pour away.
Quite a decent vintage.
Oof. Rather bitter.
Bitter, yes. But it is a young wine.
All right, but the colour. It's not blue at all, more of a purple. That doesn't seem right.
It's not supposed to be blue. The name is a reference to it not being as red as other wines. It's more a play on words.
Ah, forgive me. I've never heard of such a wine.
Don't worry. Nobody knows everything, except for my wife. If you've traveled so widely, tell me, in France, what wine do they appreciate the most? And I don't mean what wealthy nobility think, but what true connoisseurs like you and me appreciate.
I'd say Sauvignon.
But that's the type of grape. I mean the type of wine. I surely don't have to tell you the grape variety is only half the taste.
Well, it's hard to come up with something off the top of my head, but I do enjoy this variety.
Ah, well, never mind. Let's carry on. Well then, let's move on to the next one. After all that quality stuff, let's refresh ourselves with something simpler. Would you like a Hippocras?
Certainly. The better ones will go straight to our heads. And I'll admit, I do like it from time to time.
Nothing to be ashamed of. It's not easy to make a good Hippocras. Mine has an unusual ingredient in it. Let's see if you can tell what it is.
I don't know. I'd say it's made with love.
Of course it is. But I meant a real ingredient, not some poetic nonsense.
Well, in that case, I couldn't tell you.
It's not that difficult. It's mint. But there's something off about it. Doesn't it seem a bit bland to you? As though it's missing something.
Ginger. It's missing ginger.
But of course. The cook told me they didn't have any at the market. You have a refined tongue, good man. I'll give you that. After that hypocrite, we should have something more high class. I've got a rare Hungarian wine from Ego. Very strong and very sweet.
Bring it on. This is no time for weak wine.
My thoughts exactly. So what do you think? Good, isn't it?
God, why?
Very good and very red. Besides that, it has a sort of raised taste at the end of the tongue.
Raised taste? What do you mean?
It's hard to explain, but it really is very red.
As anyone can
Как-то
see
не
at first
работают
glance.
эти уловки, потому что очень слабенький и у меня прокачан
The
этот.
sky is blue.
And isn't it?
I drank this particular wine from Ego
Да, короче,
at
пить
a
больше,
banquet
чтобы
held to
левел
celebrate
побольше.
the new city council. Hungarian government, Hungarian wine, and Hungarian delicacies. I was so looking forward to enjoying some nice Hungarian sausages or pate, but I ended up leaving disappointed.
How so?
They started bringing out melons, apples, plums, and all sorts of other fruit. And finally, they served fish. I don't eat fish, and fruit makes me burp. So I went hungry at a feast.
Well, that's very unusual. Fruit, fish, and red wine. Maybe it's some sort of Hungarian custom.
I was so disappointed that I wanted to make myself something at home to get rid of the taste. But I was so drunk that I fell asleep. The housekeeper woke me up, and what could I tell you? The porridge was charcoal. The kitchen was like a smokehouse, and I had egg on my face.
So, what's next?
Next, you drink like a fish, Goodman. I don't think I have anything else you might be interested in. Regardless, I have some work to do. Feel free to stay in my tavern and enjoy yourself.
Allow me to ask you one more question. I heard you get your supplies from the monastery vineyard.
And what of it? You're not a tax collector, are you?
No, I really am not.
I don't believe a word you say. So let's be clear, you sneak. My business with the monastery vineyard is all above board. Everything is set down in my ledger upstairs, and until I see your credentials, it's none of your business.
Don't get worked up. I'm not a tax collector.
I don't care. You're snooping around, sticking your nose where it don't belong. I've nothing more to say to you.
Ну что, короче, я провалил это задание, да? Его больше не выполнится. Ну да. Не получится, наверное. Так, погнали обратно к этому пацану. А, вот видишь, не получилось пустить пыли, можно осмотреть его кабинет. Так, хорошо, а где он находится? Ну тут же вроде бы, я так понял. Угу. Придется как-то скрытно все делать. Тут точно не кабинет наверху, скорее всего. Ладно, пошли разузнаем. Так, тут он живет или нет, интересно. Можно, в принципе, пооткрывать замки. Пока что этого делать не буду.
Act like we don't know each other.
Чего?
Don't disturb me now.
А, все понял, я же тут был, кстати. Мне только интересно, где его личный этот кабинет. Искать тут, что ли? Дверь вообще не открывается.
And maybe next time I'll even fight. I've been taking lessons at the Fechthalle, and I've learned quite a bit already.
Так, вот и все. Финалик этому пацану тогда доложим все. Блин, темновато, конечно, если честно. Могли бы уже побольше света ставить. Так, и где он находится у нас? Где-то вот тут.
Excuse me.
Greetings. Do you need something?
I spoke to Havel.
And? How did it go?
I had a look around his office to see what I could see.
Well, I can't say I approve, but if you found something interesting...
I did indeed. It looks like a ledger of some sort.
Give it here. Let me have a look. 20 barrels of Rhine Riesling, 24 new barrels from the Cooper, 13 crates of Hungarian grapes for St. Gallistain. Ah, here we are. It seems they ordered some sort of special incense that they burn in the barrels. That must be it.
What good would that do?
How should I know? What's interesting is that this isn't normally part of the winemaking process, so it might be just what we're looking for. Right, and here's a small reward so you don't go around saying old Casper's ungrateful. But now I need you to look into it further. We need to find out what this special incense is for. We'll have to take a look in the vineyard and take some of that incense.
We, meaning me, right?
Of course I mean you. See how well we understand each other?
I'll do it, but I want more coin. It's a risky thing to do. What's more, it's the monastery's vineyard, and I don't want to end up on the wrong side of the church.
All right. I'll give you more, but I want you to know you're bleeding me dry as is.
I'm the one likely to actually bleed. Now tell me where to look. The vineyard is pretty big.
It's big, true. But there's a vineyard house right in the middle. The custodian lives there, as well as the workers, and it's also where all the supplies are stored. Besides, there's also a side garden where they grow new varieties of grapes. If you could manage to bring me a few seedlings, they could greatly help my own vineyard.
I'm on it then.
Good luck, and take care, Henry. By the way, what about the business with the Manlikas? Did you manage to get hold of the book by Bouchek?
I dealt with Havel, so I don't need the book now.
Aye, but I could really do with it. If I sold it, I could pay off at least some of my debts.
All right, I'll have another go.
Farewell. Taste the delicious
Понятно,
Kuttenberg
короче.
wine.
Ладно, пошли немножко другое что-нибудь тоже сделаем. Еще просто книга какая-то искать. Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой. Так, ладно. Пойдем немножко на кулаках подеремся.
Behold, I am the handler.
Он что ли? Что там вообще говорится? Наверное, он.
I think I heard about you in a fight club.
Really? About me? What did they tell you? And who, pray tell, are you?
Well, first things first, I'm Henry. From Scalitz.
František is my name.
They told me I'd find the strongest competitor here. If it's not you, then I must be looking for some ghost.
I know this place like the back of my hand, and I've never seen a spook here. So I reckon you really are looking for me.
Do you still go and fight people just for fun once in a while?
I used to do it all the time. I went to the tavern after work and picked a fight with whoever crossed my path. I've even spent a few nights under lock and key when I overdid it.
That sounds like quite a wild youth.
Water under the bridge. I've turned a new leaf. I'm even on the bailiff's good side nowadays. That's because I can handle guarding this place all on my own.
I challenge you to a fight. Man to man.
Now, in broad daylight. Someone will see us and there'll be trouble. Come at night. It'll be quiet and no one will disturb us.
All right then.
Ясно, короче. И сколько ждать? Так, сейчас посмотрим, что там у нас. Ну, давай вот так, хорошо. Будет он драться, не будет. Сейчас увидим.
So, let's see what we have here. My God! Someone really did a number on her. Oh, they ripped open her entire belly. And they didn't stop there. There must have been buckets of blood. Jesus Christ. There's hardly any blood left in her. The place they found her must look like a slaughterhouse. I should go there and take a look. Her lips are bloody, but nothing more. Tongue still in place. But if he killed her for blabbing, I reckon he'd have cut out her tongue or something, wouldn't he? These are more like chops than cuts. Somebody must have taken a sword to her. Knife wounds would be smaller, and an axe would have made a bigger mess. But it couldn't have been a long sword. That would have been clumsy. It was something shorter and nimbler. God, that madman cut off both her breasts and bits of flesh. But what did he do with it all afterwards? Better not to think about it. Her face is a little bruised and cut, but nobody cut her there. But she has a dark ring around her neck. Was she strangled? The murderer must have had pretty strong hands, and her hair is all matted with blood and hacked off. I don't even know what colour it was. The murderer must have wanted her to suffer, so he started ripping her hair out. Sick bastard. Just some scratches and bruises, that's all. The killer probably surprised her. She didn't even have time to defend herself. So, the murderer must have awfully strong hands, because he strangled her and left a dark ring around her neck. Then he took a short sword or saber and started hacking at her. She's missing parts of her torso, but they aren't by the body. He also cut off most of her hair. He cut off her breasts, but left her tongue, then left her lying there for all to see. To send a message, maybe? Or a warning? Only if it was a warning for telltales, he would have cut out her tongue or something, wouldn't he? I don't know why he killed her, but I don't think it's because of Catherine.
Ужас, конечно. Она, может, что-нибудь видела?
What's the matter? Did you know her?
Alice. She was almost like a sister to me. We served together for years, in the same house. Why'd you ask? Who are you?
I'm trying to find out who did this to her. I'm afraid the killer might want to go after my friend as well.
Ah, I understand.
Who did you serve?
Our master is a local merchant. He is trying his hand at trading wine.
How did Alice get along with your master?
Fine. Just like with everyone. Our master is a bit strict, but he's fair.
What's his name? Can I speak to him?
Why? But you can't see him anyway. He's on a trade trip to Prague.
It occurred to me that maybe he could have done it.
No, he couldn't. He was gone when it happened. He hadn't been home in several weeks. And besides, why would he kill them others too? He never even knew them.
What others?
You haven't heard. A few girls, like our Alice, died before. All really pretty girls.
Do you know of any suitors she might have had?
I know she was seeing someone. Why?
I'd like to talk to him as well.
But I don't know who it was. Alice said he was rich and dressed nicely. But she promised him she'd never tell anyone his name.
And you never saw him?
No, never. I don't even know where she met with him.
Do you know what exactly happened to Alice?
No. Nobody saw or heard nothing. One day, she just didn't come home. And then, they found her. Like this.
It's awful what they did to her.
She was such a pretty girl. And that beautiful brown hair of hers. And it didn't even leave that untouched. Who could have cut off her hair like that? And why? None of it makes sense.
So, I'll leave you to mourn in peace now.
Ну просто какой-то ублюдок, найдем и прикончим. Так, ладно. Где искать могильщика? Подеремся с ним. Потом, может, осмотрим место преступления. Странно, его тут нету. Что по заданию вообще? Где он? Ну, где-то тут должен быть. А, вот он.
I'll challenge you to a duel.
Then you shall have it. I accept. But first, let's clear up some rules.
All right.
First of all, fight like a man. I'm not going to chase you around here like a scared nanny goat. You stick your nose outside the cemetery wall, and you're finished. If you've had enough, feel free to give up. I won't hurt you intentionally. I'm not a monster.
Do you expect the same from me?
No. On principle, I fight as long as I can stand on my own 2 feet. And be so kind and try not to stomp around here too much, so those under the ground here have some peace and quiet.
All right.
We'll go over there. There'll be more space. Ready? Didn't see that coming, eh? Take that!
for glory!
You haven't a chance!
I feel quite hungry!
Take that, you shit!
No mercy!
Ё-моё, еле-еле я с ним справился. Это капец, реально он самый мощный был. Надо бы, конечно, как-нибудь научиться этому удару. Капец, и башка вся, наверное, в крови. Ё-моё.
There. That's that.
That wound. Oh, I haven't got a beating like that since I buried my pa.
Don't be hard on yourself. You're no pushover either.
You'd better believe it. And my best years are long gone. Well, you beat me fair and square, I admit it. Perhaps God sent you to me as a sign I should take it easy in my old age.
Well, it's true someone sent me here. But it wasn't God.
But with a successor like you, I don't really mind. So you won't think I'm a monster, I'd like to give you something as a reward. I don't have much, but I could teach you something. What do you say to that?
Давай попробуем.
And what exactly can you do?
You mean what sort of skills can one pick up in a cemetery? Sometimes you've got to fix something up or replace it. And at night I've got to keep an eye out for thieves. Nothing is sacred to those bastards.
I'd like to learn something new.
I can show you how to deal with small repairs. Or tell you how to sneak up on someone so quietly, they only notice you once you're
Ну
tickling
это
them with
мне
the
не
whip.
надо, если честно. Так, ладно, хорошо. Давай полечимся как-нибудь. Так, а где мои повязки все подевались? Да, мне она не нужна, ну хорошо. Так, тогда что мы делаем? Квашеную капусту П поедим. И настой календулы пьем. Я думаю, этого хватит. Так, где это место убийства произошло? Сейчас будем искать. Подожди-ка, так я же с ним говорил, вроде бы он ничего не знает.
You must be the local gravedigger.
That's right. They call me František. At least them that can speak do.
I'm Henry.
Greetings, Henry. What do you need?
That dead girl you have in the morgue. Alice.
You've seen her? Poor thing. Who could have done such a thing?
Well, that's what I'm trying to find out. Do you know anything about her?
She's gone to meet her maker. What more do you want to know? You want to take away a piece of her? Well, you can't. Not a hair off her head, a bloody scrap of cloth, or a thumb. You hear?
Well, I don't want to take anything. I need to find something out.
Like what exactly?
Who killed her?
Why?
Someone killed the poor girl. You can't just let the murderer get away with it, can you?
Well, what do you plan on doing about it?
Find out who did it and bring him to justice.
Well, if that's the way it is, and you really want to help them lasses, it's true that Lumiere ain't shown no interest in her yet. I wouldn't expect that from him no more.
Who's this Lumiere? Another one of those gawkers and collectors?
No, no. He actually tried to help.
Help? How?
Well, he was investigating them others.
Right. You said she wasn't the first.
Aye. We had a couple of similar cases. Lumiere said they was all killed by the same murderer.
And how did he come to that conclusion?
How do I know? Best ask Lumiere yourself.
Do you remember how many girls were killed?
You mean you don't know nothing about it? Here, even the sparrows are squawking about it.
I haven't been in Kuttenberg very long.
I see. There's been one every few weeks for the past year.
Do you know where the last one got killed?
I heard some talk about it when they brought her here. But what do you want to do there?
Look for clues. Footprints, blood, anything.
That can help you.
That's worth a try.
I heard she was killed by the town walls, close to the Hole in the Wall, a dodgy tavern in the Hoprink neighborhood.
Thanks. What's this Lumiere got to do with this?
Well, like I told you, he used to work for the bailiff. I think he was a scribe.
A scribe keeps records in the Black Chronicle, though I've never heard of one doing his own investigations.
Well, the old bailiff wasn't all that interested in the common folk. But Lumiere, he was quite helpful. Folk heard about it and went to him with whatever was troubling them.
I'd like to speak with Lumiere. Do you know where I can find him?
At his home in Bohemia Street, that's near the church. You won't find him at the bailiff's no more. I don't know exactly why, though. Seems he had some quarrel with the bailiff.
Thanks. You've been a big help.
It's my pleasure, especially helping someone from the land of the living again. Actually, wait a mo. Speaking of the living, there's a girl what comes here and grieves over that dead maid. I think her name is Barbara.
I know. I've already spoken to her.
Aha. Good then. Lots of luck to you.
Ну, какой-то он странноватенький, если честно. Когда дрались, не таким был. Так, ладненько, что я вообще хотел сделать. Вот как раз вот тут место преступления было. Потом вот сюда тогда сходим. Все равно придется же туда идти. К тому винограднику. Вот как раз сейчас ночь. Легче прокрасться будет. Пойдем туда искать улика, может, поможет. Хотя я думаю, вряд ли я там что-то найду. Еще интересно, осталась ли там какая-то улика или нет.
I'm always glad to see polite people like you. God be with you.
Cheers.
You
I
have
hope
a
you have an
kind
uneventful
master.
shift.
Hey,
Что
Matt?
это за фигня такая? Классно, раздвоились пацаны. Так, ну вот тут где-то, значит, это место должно быть, не? Так вот, Леопольд этот. А, так вот, где место преступления было. Ну давай с ним пока что поговорим.
Lumiere?
Oh. Christ, my head. Not so loud.
I need to ask you something.
I said not so loud. I have a splitting headache.
That's some hangover. He's useless to me like this. Unless I'm willing to wait for him to sleep it off, I'll have to get him some kind of cure or potion. This should sober him up. Oh, no, not that. Ah, nothing like a little hair of the dog that bit you.
More booze. Christ. I'm gonna puke.
Drink up. It'll make you feel better.
Better already. Wait, what? Who... What are you doing here? Who are you?
My name is Henry.
And what do you want from me?
I'm trying to find out who killed a certain girl. And I was sent to you.
To me? What for?
Are you Lumiere from the Rat House? The scribe?
I used to be. Now I'm just Lumiere the Madman.
They say that about you. Why?
Because I was just on some wild goose chase. And what came of it? Absolutely nothing.
But I need your help.
If I were you, lad, I'd leave it be. You can't help that girl anymore, anyway. You'll just end up hurting yourself.
Come now, Lumiere.
Poor girls. Nobody was all that interested in it, except for me. We let it be in the end. We let a monster walk among us. No way. You can't solve this yourself.
I need to know the truth. To find the one responsible.
I appreciate your enthusiasm, lad. But it's no use. I searched high and low. And what did I get out of it? Just mockery. What makes you think you can find out more than I did?
Because I know people, and can easily convince them. In the end, they spill their guts.
Is that so? What about me? Do you think I'll spill my guts too?
A moment ago you were moaning in pain, and now you're deliberating whether or not to tell me what you know.
All right. Talk to me. Who was this dead girl?
Her name was Alice. She worked as a maid.
A maid? That fits. Yarka was a maid too. As were most of the other victims. What did she look like? What did he do to her?
I think that he strangled her first, and then went at her with a longer blade and disemboweled her.
Did you notice the strangulation right away? It took me a while. Maybe you really will track him down.
Do you think it's the same murder?
Counting your girl, that makes 6 victims who were first strangled and then mutilated. If it's not all the same person, they must be collaborating somehow.
This is the 6th one. How long has he been killing?
Probably about a year now. Sometimes it takes him months, sometimes weeks. But I'm including missing girls. Stanya and Zdena.
Why are you counting the missing girls?
Because I think someone killed them, and we just haven't found them yet.
Did the dead girls have anything in common?
Aside from being pretty young girls with no proper family or background, no. I couldn't find much.
Do you think somebody is killing them because they're poor, and nobody will miss them?
Certainly. If somebody killed the daughter of a local lord, no stone would be left unturned.
But why does he even kill in the first place?
I don't know. Maybe he hates women. Damn it. I feel like I'm going in circles and can't get out.
Why were you looking into it? Who were those dead girls to you?
I don't know what people told you about me, but for many long years I was a scribe for Kuttenberg's bailiff. Kuttenberg is a big city with a lot of people. Silver, silver, silver. Mining it, smelting it, stealing it. There's always something going on. The bailiff was always running from hell to Hades, from one rich man to another, settling their quarrels. Often trivial nonsense.
But there are more than just rich burghers and lords in the city.
Exactly. There are common folk too. There's a lot more of them, and their troubles are usually more serious. So when one of them came to the bailiff's one time, and the bailiff was running around somewhere, I started to deal with it myself. I was pretty good at it too.
Behind the bailiff's back?
Not really. Andreas supported my activities until recently.
What happened?
I don't want to talk about it.
Sorry.
Did you have any suspects back then?
You can always find some suspect. I always dragged the most suspicious ones to the body in the morgue by force. And they threw up at the sight. Or fainted.
Couldn't it have just been an act?
Fainting? Vomiting? That's hard to act. I'd swear none of them did it.
What about Stanya?
She was an alehouse wench in a tavern of ill repute called the Hole in the Wall.
You said her body was never found. Maybe she just got out of town.
You have no idea how much I'd like to believe that. Only there was a lot of blood. Unfortunately, the investigation wasn't very successful. The Hole is a world of its own, and the people there aren't very forthcoming with information.
Did you suspect anybody?
You could suspect every second man there. Those people have nothing but thievery and deceit in their eyes. The innkeeper, Mole, definitely knew Stanya, since she worked for him. But he isn't all that chatty either.
So if I want to learn anything more, I have to ask this Mole? In the hole?
Yeah. He still runs the place.
And what about that Zdena? You said her body was never found.
Exactly. But to tell the truth, nobody spent much time looking for it. Besides Alice, Zdena was the most recent victim. It's only been a few weeks since she went missing, but I suppose nobody wanted to do any more digging.
But if her body was never found, how do you know she was killed?
Because she was the same type as the other girls. Maybe the prettiest of them all. Young, beautiful. A real live one. Lively as the devil. She was a thief. A pickpocket. I never could pin it on her, though. She always found some way to get out of it.
Maybe she robbed the wrong people and had to get out of town.
Maybe. She had a partner in crime by the name of Strunad. Quite a number. He's always sitting in the hole, boozing. When I asked him about Zdena, he told me he'd rather rip his own tongue out than talk.
Do you think he'd be more forthcoming with me?
He might be. You're not known all over town like a catchpole. It's worth a try. Besides, it might still be fresh in his memory. That would be a great help.
What can you tell me about Yarka?
She wasn't the first. But thanks to her, people started taking an interest. She was a maid in a German family. By all accounts, she was a pious, polite girl. She was orphaned as a child. The priest from the church of St. Peter and Paul, Father Prokop, raised her. They found her body tossed behind a barn at the edge of town. She was cut all the way from her neck downwards. An awful sight to behold.
Did you have any suspects?
At first, I thought the son from that family did it. The murderer is usually someone close, you know. But then I changed my mind.
Why?
Well, for one, I remembered the two girls before her who ended up almost the same. Besides that, when I talked to the lad, he seemed he wasn't the least bit interested in Yarka. Then his mother told me that they threw her out a week before the murder because she was a harlot who stayed out till all hours of the night. That really surprised me, because Father Prokop had vouched for her good reputation. But who knows? Maybe he just didn't want to admit what had become of her.
And what about the other two victims?
It all started with them, though nobody did much about it at the time. The first one worked as a bathhouse maid. They called her Chestnut. She'd only been in town for a short while, and nobody really knew her. So I couldn't find out anything more. But the other one, Libushka, she was from Loretz. She was a maidservant, too. I also talked to her mother. She said she was really cheerful and outgoing. There were lots of suitors circling around her, but she refused them all. She knew she was pretty and knew she could do better than some farmhand.
You mean she wanted someone higher up?
That's what it sounded like. But her mother never found out who she had her eye on.
Interesting. I'll try to see what else I can find out from the mother. Where can I find her?
In the graveyard, lad. The poor woman died of grief. It's sad to say, but we can't help those two dead girls now. And they can't help us with our investigation either. There's nobody else left who could tell us anything about them.
Can you sum it all up for me?
We have 6 victims here. And I believe they were all murdered by the same killer. Unfortunately, we only know a little about the last 4, the most recent ones. By now, we won't learn anything about the first two. Of the remaining four, the first to be killed was the maidservant, Yarka. She was raised by Father Prokop from the Church of St. Peter and Paul. He should know the most about her. The next were Stanya and Zdena. Their bodies weren't found, but we assume they also became victims of the same murderer. They both hung around a tavern they called the Hole in the Wall. Stanya was an alehouse maid, and Zdena a pickpocket. And the last victim is Alice now, also a maid. What they all have in common is that they were young, beautiful, and brunette.
Good. I know everything I need to know.
When you learn something more, stop by and see me. You've aroused a bit of hope in me, lad. I hope you won't disappoint me.
История очень, конечно, напоминает фильм «Семь грехов». Там снимался Брэд Питт, и вот тоже такие же убийства были. Ну, сейчас будем, короче, расследовать. Ну, видишь, одна была блудницей, другая воровка. Так, хорошо, поехали, покажется сюда. Потом уже будем искать его. Мне кажется, будет очень длинная задача. Ну, точнее, задание. Потому что убийцу найти не так уж и просто.
Go! Go!
Так, вот и виноградник. Тут надо, наверное, тихо ходить. Мне кажется, это будет охраняемая территория. Сейчас будем видеть. Опачки, не могу подняться. Проблемки. Так, тут смогу. Все, отлично. Да, видишь, я на частной территории. А что мне там нужно сделать, кстати? Угу, секрет. Принести еще и лозы. А, еще и найти книжку. Ну, все понятно. Так, подожди-ка, давай я книжку, может, сначала найду. Ну, либо украду. Как получится. Что это за бред такой интересный? Так тут же никого нету. У кого тут книжку искать? Странно, это все странно. Ну, смотри, видишь? Задание-то тут, да? Ну. Никого нету. Может, он эту книжку реально в туалете где-нибудь тут оставил? Давай посмотрим. Не, нету, просто реально бывает рядом с туалетом лежат книжки. Интересно, это интересно. Что по заданию вообще написано про книжку? А, я все понял, блин, я, короче, туплю просто. Это же моя сивка, короче, там надо книжку просто забрать и все. Точно, я ее случайно же в эту положил, в сумму. Точнее, в сумку. Да ё-моё, мог же перепрыгнуть. Сейчас не могу. Что за бред такой? Ну тут же залезть мог. Давай уже. Ай-яй-яй-яй-яй. Как это все тихо сделать, я вообще не знаю, если честно. Частная территория. Видишь, стоят дружки, и там стоят. Так, ну вроде бы прошел, тут охраны нету, правильно? Так что можем все искать тогда. Что за вербовщик? Не, лучше сюда вообще не ходить. Опачки. Что это за фигня такая? Что-то пришел сюда. А, понятно, он на нашего Барбоскина злится. Надо было его оставлять просто и все. Громковато, конечно. Я взламываю, но здесь тут никого нет. Давай заберемся, что тут есть. Ну это все, так, еще 5 лос надо добыть. Да только идти вообще непонятно наверх, наверное. Так, слушай, а тут интересное вино может быть, я так понял, да? Ну, давай, слушай, осмотрим. Страшновато что-то, блин. Да не, вроде бы обычное вино такое. Вот это только дорогое. Остальные такие дешевые. Не, я так понял, я лучше не найду. Ладно, погнали отсюда тогда. Блин, надо все по-тихенькому делать. Где тут охранник? Так, а где мне эти лозы найти? Так, тут яблочки у нас. Тоже ничего. Да, это проблема. Нет, нам не сюда. Так, что нам еще пишут тут? Принести лозы. А, они сзади находятся. Ну хорошо, сейчас. Понятно, короче. Опа. Закрываем дверьку. Пока. Так, вот тут, наверное, эти лозы, да? Давай быстрее забираем и валим отсюда. Сейчас проблема у нас будет просто. Все, красава. Погнали отсюда. Так, а сюда я выйти вообще могу или нет? Тут, видишь, закрыто. Тут закрыто. Блин, обратно, короче, надо пробираться. Еще и перегружен. Набрал себе вина. Ну ладно. Даже-нибудь выбросим вино какое-нибудь дешевое. Ну нафиг, это вообще не поможет мне никак. Что еще набрал тут? Ну что, так хватит? Конечно, немножко пьяненький, но ладно. Попробуем как-нибудь выбраться отсюда. Все, убегаем, убегаем, быстрее. Что он там, догоняет меня или нет? Надо как-то отвязаться от него. Не, нормально бегает, я его слышу, он догоняет. Классно, взял просто за угол, убежал и все. Да, вот эта игра, понимаю. Бляха, и бежать не могу. Что там еще у нас такого? Ну, даже грузоподъемность у меня поднялась неплохо так. Бежать не могу. Поехали на лошади. Так, куда нам надо? Надо осмотреть, короче, место преступления. Это задание, я так понял, выполнил. Давай книжку заберем сразу же. Все, вот и книжка. Просто немножко тупил, думал, где он. Давай тогда сейчас карту. Там мы все сделали. Так, это мы разузнаем, где место преступления. Уже видишь, нет этого задания. Смотреть место преступления. Это плохо. Значит, нам просто сюда надо. Так, ну поехали. Я думаю, быстренько сейчас доберемся.
Quick!
Так и по прямой.
Go! Go! Car! Go! Quick! Easy, easy. Nice and slow.
Так, вот мы и приехали. Давай разузнаем что-нибудь. Так, не у него надо спрашивать. Куда все разбежались?
Are you Sternad? The one that went with Zdenna?
Who the fuck are you?
Just an ordinary bloke who has some questions.
Well then, piss off. You won't get any answers here. All you're gonna get here is a kick in the teeth.
Why so rash? That kind of attitude will do you no favours. Let's make a deal. You tell me everything you know about Zdenna, and I'll make sure you're no worse for wear.
Ah. You're the lord what that whore robbed. Don't worry about it. She weren't nothing but a lying bitch.
So, if I understand correctly, we can make a deal?
For the right price, I'll tell you all I know.
Is this the right price?
You fucking bet it is. Ask away and I'll tell you everything.
What can you tell me about Zdenna?
What do you want to hear? I try to keep her out of trouble, but there's just no helping some women.
So you were taking care of her?
Well, just in front of the others. Other than that, she did what she wanted. Always made her mind up and did things her own way.
So you weren't too fond of her?
Not really, no. But she did have a knack for making coin.
Where can I find Zdenna?
Aye. That's what I like to fucking know too. Last time I saw her... Well, that'd be back when she managed to fleece you.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to find her.
I can well imagine. Well, she went to Ravstein Mill. It's quite a long ways away. She had some unfinished business with some bloke called Pint. Ain't nobody seen her since then.
Did she have any friends or lovers who'd know more? Did anybody come here to see her?
Who come to see that bitch? She was always off somewhere, seeing someone. Although, once...
Someone came to see her?
Well, aye. Some stuffed frock came here once. All old and decrepit. He said he had some job for her. That she should leave behind her sinful life and all that shit. But he left empty-handed. She told him to go to hell.
Do you know who that priest was?
Some fucking Prokop or Pravoslav or some such shit. But that reminds me. I saw her a couple of times with another bastard. That fucking bard, William.
What do you know about this priest?
Not much. Seems they knew each other from before. And he had some job for her somewhere. Serving as a maid or something. But she weren't stupid. She told him to fuck right off.
And did he go?
Aye, indeed. He didn't look like the kind of fella that would knock some sense into a woman. I think he just told her if she changed her mind to come and see him. Or some shit like that.
And could she have changed her mind and gone to him? And that's why nobody's seen her?
No, no. She took off. I'm sure about that.
And could she have run away with this bard, William?
With that lily-livered fop? Well, he ain't been seen in town for some time, but I think someone was out to get him. He still don't come here no more. He plucks that loot of his in the Miners' Tavern. The wee shit.
I've heard enough.
Что там такое? Где там коты дерутся? Странная фигня какая-то. Кого мне еще раз спросить тут нужно, я уже забыл. А недалеко ли? Так, ну ладно, давай тут расспросим тогда. Потом уже туда в добрый путь. Хотя, слушай, я же могу еще поспать тут. Да, никого же тут нету. Ясно, короче. Ну, придется спать и там уже потом узнавать. Как раз к этому священнику зайдем.
I'm sorry.
Что меня эти коты напрягают уже.
Greetings. What brings you here so early in the morning?
Did Estania work here?
Stanya. Maybe. It depends on who's asking.
My name's Henry.
Names don't interest me. The main thing is whether it's a good guest or a bad guest asking. What kind of guest are you, Henry?
I'm a good guest.
Really? Let's see. Do you know how to recognize a good guest?
By the fact he spends a lot of coin?
Aye. I like talking to them kind of guests. A lot. So, what'll it be, my good man?
What if I simply paid you and you tell me what I want to know?
Ask away.
I want to know if Stanya worked here.
She did. And she don't know more. What's it to you?
I heard she disappeared without a trace. So I'm trying to find out if anyone had anything to do with it.
It's possible. The chamber she was sleeping in here was totally ransacked. The door open. Everything emptied out. And Stanya was gone. All I found were bloody footprints.
How did Stanya's room look?
The door was wide open. Most of her things were gone, but some remained. And there was blood all over the place.
Blood? Was there a lot?
Not so much, really. More like hand or footprints. But they were near everywhere. If someone done her in, they definitely didn't do it in that chamber.
Tell me something else.
First, you'll have another beer. Or is it time to pay?
What?
If you want to ask, you have to drink. Didn't you get that?
You're quite the extortionist.
I prefer to be called an enterprising man of trade. So, what'll it be?
I don't want to pay you any more. I think you could answer my questions directly and not always try to wheedle money out of me. That makes it look like you might have some motive for keeping me from finding out anything about that murder.
Nonsense. How could you think that? Come on. Ask me anything you want.
Did anybody see what actually happened when Stanya disappeared?
No, it was at night. Nobody saw or heard anything. The tavern tends to be empty at that hour. And you won't meet many people on the street, neither.
What was Stanya like? What can you tell me about her?
A bold woman. One has to be here. Everyone's ballsy here unless you nib it in the bud right away. She was hanging around a bard for a while. I don't know how close they were, but she also had another suitor.
Someone from the city?
No, a charcoal burner. I heard he was from somewhere in the, Verchlitz Valley. I think his name was Barton?
Apart from those men, did anyone else know Stanya? I mean, more intimately?
Well, I got bad news for you. She had 2 close friends, but you won't get much out of either of them.
Why?
One was hit by a cart, even before Stanya disappeared. And she died. And the other one got married and moved away.
What do you know about that bard?
What about him? He's a minstrel, a skirt chaser. What more can I say? He called himself William. As far as I know, he plays in the miners' tavern in the evenings. But sometimes he shows up here, too.
You think he might have been the one who...
Now that you mention it, he cleared out of town for a while and only came back not long ago. It could be him, all right. I know he met with some odd people and talked about God knows what, like bloody spies. Besides, you know what minstrels are like. Lasses just flock to them. And like they say, opportunity makes the thief.
Or in this case, a murderer. Where can I find this Barton?
I already told you. In the Verchlitz Valley.
Could you be a bit more precise?
I don't know that bloke at all. All I know is he's a charcoal burner. So if I was you, I'd look somewhere around the charcoal kilns.
That's all I need to know.
Ну, все понятно. Ладно, уходим отсюда. Так, и куда мы пойдем, интересно? Блин, это все так далеко, если честно. Так, давай сначала к нему заявимся. Если он не уйдет никуда. Хотя, как назло, мне кажется, уйдет. Кто-то меня кличет уже. Блин, нафиг я пил, он бегать просто не может. Это проблема, я считаю. Ты прикалываешься, ты перепрыгнуть не можешь. Ясно, короче. Ну и такое бывает. Вот он, что ли, ходит? Не он.
Oh, excuse me.
Я, наверное, сразу пойду на ту мельницу. Там все обследую. Так, вот он сидит, я так понял. Сейчас будем узнавать.
Good day to you. What brings you here?
Father, I need to ask you a few questions.
I don't have time for theological discussions, my son.
That's not why I'm here. My name's Henry, and I wanted to ask about the murder that happened recently. Someone killed and gutted a young maidservant and left her body lying by the city walls. And I hear it's not the first time this has happened.
Another one murdered. May the Lord grant her eternal rest. Why is it you ask?
I fear for my sister. She's also a maid.
Yes. Fear for those close to you is commendable. What would you like to hear?
One of the other victims was a girl named Yorka. But I reckon you know that, don't you? Where did you know Yorka from?
I knew her since she was a little girl. Knew her family.
And?
I was her uncle. When my brother and his wife died, I took care of her.
You raised her? A priest with a child?
Yes. Unfortunately, I'm not the first of the clergy to have a child on the side. But at least everyone knew Yarka wasn't my own daughter.
No offense, but how did you know what to do? Without a wife, without a family? I would have been lost.
I was a bit, son. When she was smaller, it was fine, but when she grew up a bit, maybe I was too hard on her.
Why do you think you were too hard on her?
Yarko was an orphan, with no family and no possessions. Her only chance of a good life was a good upbringing. And then, a husband. But the more I led her in that direction, the more she resisted me.
How did she rebel against you?
She wouldn't listen. She ran away. She ran around with all sorts. And how did it turn out? She died. And in sin. Such a disgrace.
Ну слушай, какой-то он странный типок, если честно. Что значит позор?
Disgrace? What the devil are you talking about?
She was pregnant! Even if she had lived, what then? Nobody would want to marry her anymore.
You're well off, though. Couldn't you provide for her?
I couldn't. Even if she had been my very own. More so, since she was my brother's.
But how come?
The church's property always remains the church's. They keep a close eye on that.
How does that even work? Did you have her with you at the presbytery?
When she was small, I could. But when she grew up, she had to go. It wouldn't look right.
Why don't you respect Lumiere?
That's my business. You needn't concern yourself about that. I won't tell you anything.
But this is important. Do I look like someone who's asking out of curiosity?
All right. Lumiere accused me of her murder.
What?
Yes. He slandered me in public.
And how... What happened then?
It turned out he was deranged. How could he even think such a thing? He's finished in Gutenberg.
Who do you think killed her?
William, that pig of Satan. He gambles in the tavern on All Saints' Day and leads the locals astray. Yarka always went there to listen to music. I'm sure he got her with child.
And does anyone else come to mind? No other man spoke with her?
No, absolutely not.
Why do you think it was William? Do you have any evidence?
Evidence? He's a skirt chaser, a tool of Satan. He messes with poor girls' heads.
What can you tell me about her?
About Yarka. She was an ordinary girl. She served the von Groll family.
I've heard enough, Father. I'll be going.
Son, I'll give you some good advice. Don't listen to Lumiere. That man has gone completely mad.
Слушай, это уже интересно. Но мне про этого Вильяма уже и корчмарь рассказал, так что может это реально он замешан. Так, ладненько. Блин, бежать до сих пор не могу. Это, конечно, тяжеловато. Надо выбираться отсюда. Так. Куда дальше пойдем? Я бы, конечно, хотел бы найти, наверное, вот сюда для начала сходить. Но тут, конечно, очень далеко, блин. Куда тут переместиться вы? А, ну, в принципе, можем сюда. Почему нет? Надеюсь, нас кто-нибудь остановит, и я поближе буду. Так, давай остановимся. Так, волки я понял. А, от места я далеко вообще или нет? Так, где это? А, ну да, слушай, далековато, блин, не там остановился. Ладно, давай тут разберемся. Давай поможем быстрее. Блин, а я бегать не могу. Ну? Бляха, попасть не могу, вот прикол, а? Ну что это за бред такой, вот скажи, я просто махаю, попасть не могу. Барбоскин, перестань гавкать, помогай лучше. О, только гавкает, помочь не может, просто бегает вокруг него. Все, здесь это последний.
Mother of God, that was terrifying. If it wasn't for you, they'd have torn me to pieces. Thank you, lad.
It was nothing, really. The main thing is you're safe and sound.
Nothing, you say? No, no. I have to repay you for your bravery. Here, for you, so that you don't forget me. And thank you again.
Так, хорошо. Так, мне бы умыться, конечно, потому что я весь в крови. Нифига себе он умывается. До земли достает. Но игра даже со всеми багами интересна, так что... Ничего страшного, что такое происходит, бывает.
Quick. Go. 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 Ja. Опачки, тут надо быть аккуратным. Все, нормально, нормально спустился. Так. Что по карте? Там близко я уже? Ну да, уже близковато. Подожди, я случайно там не был? В этой мельнице? Не, ну я не был ни разу. Go! Ja! Красиво тут. Место хорошее. Блин, а интересно, тут постираться можно или нельзя? Может, тут есть где-то место для стирки?
Блин, надо обходить. Так, у кого вообще спросить можно? Давай у него спросим.
Christ, take a bath. You look terrible.
Are you Pine?
I am. Why?
I'm looking for Zdena.
I don't know any Stena.
Stonard said something different.
You're a friend of Stonard's, are you?
Actually, I don't really know him that well. He's the only one I know who knew Zdena. And he sent me to you.
Well, if he told you that, I reckon it's all right. He's not much of a traitorous rat, I reckon.
I wouldn't entirely count on that. So you knew Zdena? Can you tell me something about her?
I know Stena all right, but she ain't been here in some time. Why are you looking for her? What do you want from her?
I'm looking for a... Back in the city, they think she's either dead or run off somewhere. And you're the last person to see her before she went missing.
What of her?
I heard she wanted to sell you some valuables. Is that true?
Oh, aye. She had a good haul. No rubbish. Mostly jewelry, rings, one signet ring with a coat of arms and everything. She left it all here. I paid her a pretty sum of coin. It was a good thing she had a basket with her, otherwise she couldn't have carried it all.
And what about that signet ring? Do you still have it?
She didn't sell me the ring. She wanted to keep it. Said it'd bring her luck someday.
Where did she go next from here? You said she had a lot of coin on her.
That she did. She also had a feeling someone was following her. Someone on a horse.
Someone followed her on a horse from Kuttenberg. Did she say what he looked like?
She didn't. At first, she thought it was some wealthy lord out for a ride. But he held back. Never passed by her and...
And did you see him? Did he come all the way here?
No. But Stena thought he would show. She even left her scarf here and paid some girl to walk around with it to make it look like she was still here.
And then where'd she go?
She wanted to go the back way, through the woods, so nobody could follow her. Past the woods is a road and a ford across a stream. Next to it is a huge boulder. When it rains, the water can rise fast. The road goes on to Kuttenberg.
Well, if it leads back to the road and there was really someone following her, I reckon if they saw she was long in returning, they could have waited for her at the ford, no?
Fuck! That's quite possible. I made a point of looking, but I didn't see any riders that day, so I forgot about it.
What can you tell me about Zdena?
She always had it hard. She lost her parents and her home as a child. She had to learn to take care of herself.
And what about Sternad? How does he fit into this?
Sternad was her guardian angel, as she used to say. If she hadn't been thieving with him, she probably would have ended up a whore. But by sharing with him, she could do what she wanted.
Uh-huh. I'm surprised she stuck with him as long as she did.
That's because she had a hideout somewhere nearby. That's why she'd come to me with her loot, before they taxed her on the spot. And the last time she was here, she said one more haul like this, and she'll be able to go wherever she wanted, to Prague or Vienna.
Do you know what kind of luck she meant? Did you recognize the signet on the ring?
No, I didn't recognize that signet. But all the while, Stena was giggling to herself. I reckon she had her eye on another mark.
Zdena's scarf. Do you still have it?
Aye. I wanted to give it back to her the next time she came.
Will you give it to me? I'll try having my dog track her down.
All the same to me. Here you go. But it's been a long time. I don't know if it will help.
And could it have been Father Prokop following her?
What do I know? If he has a horse and fancy clothes. But why would he do it?
I heard he wanted to find her an honest job, but she wasn't interested.
I don't know. She didn't say nothing about that.
And could it have been William?
And who would that be?
He's this bard she was seeing.
I don't know about that. I don't remember her mentioning nobody by that name.
Well, I'll go and check out that ford. Maybe I'll find something there.
I hope you don't. Farewell.
Ну, понятно все так. Длинные, конечно, тут разговоры очень, если честно. Так, узнать больше о судьбе воровки с Дэна, окей. Так, куда нам нужно? Сейчас, я просто плохо что-то запомнил. Все понятно, нам назад, короче. Ну, погнали. Где ты, сивка? Поехали. Будем искать.
Quick!
Ну, интересно все равно, конечно, узнать, кто это все проворачивает. Найти и сразу кокнуть его. Опачки. Вот и кровь. Вот и кровь. Пойдем туда по следу.
That has to be that ford Pike was talking about. I should take a look around here.
Ну, давай осмотримся, где-то я так понял. В лесу должна она находиться. Так, ну мне кажется, не тут. Наверное, наверх поднимемся. Опачки, а вот и она.
Poor thing. She didn't get very far. Ugh, she's been lying here a long time. At first glance, this body isn't as mutilated as the others. Unfortunately, I can't tell if somebody strangled her like the others. She's been lying here too long for that, but her head is smashed in. Either the murderer hit her with a rock, or dashed her hard against the ground. She must have put up a fight. Or maybe he lost his patience. Oh, she's all stuck to her clothes. They're torn up, but I don't see any cuts. The rips are odd. Like someone was looking for something. Oh, I can't make much out by now. But it seems as if the fingers on her right hand are broken. Did the murderer torture her? Or was he trying to get something out of her hand?
Но видно же, что ее душили. Ты что, не увидел, что там отпечаток руки?
My God. Oh, something fell out of her. A signet ring. Oh, that must be the one she stole. How did it get inside her? Did she swallow it herself? Or did the murderer shove it in there? Was she trying to hide it? Or was it punishment for stealing? Well, that's enough. But what does it all mean? I'd say she put up a decent fight, and the killer had to improvise. And that's about all I can find out. She's probably been lying here a few weeks. But that ring is a
Слушай, мне
good
что-то
lead.
кажется, что это реально может быть прокоп. Просто, понимаешь, видишь, она воровка. И мы нашли у нее, получается, ну, внутри кольцо. Он его не забрал. Так что какой-то больной это делает. Так, а давай посмотрим на кольцо, что за оно вообще. По заданию оно есть, а что я псу могу вообще дать? Блин, жесть, конечно.
Truck.
Не, ничего ему давать понюхать. Тут я понял, она что-то прятала. Ничего ценного тут нету. Этот след сюда и ведет. Так, больше ничего тут не узнаю, я так понял. Поедем, значит, сюда. Как раз отсюда вроде бы недалеко, правильно? Так, где я нахожусь? Я тут нахожусь. Ну, давай сюда переместимся быстренько. Кстати, тут постираемся. Так что это хорошо. Надо, короче, еще все равно больше разузнать, потому что так сразу не поймешь.
You have a kind master, hey, doggy?
Так, ну подождем тогда немножко. Так, тут мы были, мы тут спасли фермера, получается. Трупы они, интересно, убрали, ну да, видишь, их уже нет. Так, давай ее немножко подождем. А, блин, еще мне поесть нужно. Сейчас поедим тогда чего-нибудь. Хоть как-то. Отлично. Не помню, мне показалось, или это пещера? Так, давай сюда войдем, посмотрим, что там. Да, видишь, все заброшено. Что это за дела такие? Как будто кто-то, видишь, меня ищет. Может, там наверху кто-то есть? Давай посмотрим. Не, никого нету. Интересно это все. Видишь, мне надо вернуться. Да, ничего я тут не найду, видимо. Так, вот мы и на месте сейчас будем искать этого движога. Я думаю, ничего интересного я не узнаю. Мне кажется, это кто-то в городе над этого Вильяма спрашивать. Вот он, береза у него, да?
I'm looking for someone named Stanya.
You're in a charcoal camp, fella. What would a woman be doing here?
But you know Stanya, don't you?
Aye. You could say that. Why?
I'm looking for the killer of a girl in town. And I heard that someone also tried to kill this Stanya.
That's true. She told me something like that. But that was a long time ago.
So you don't know what became of her?
I really don't know, mate. But even if I did know, how can I be sure you aren't that killer?
I wouldn't be foolishly asking around for her then, would I?
Why not? How else would you find her?
Without getting seen by any witnesses.
What do you mean? What witnesses?
I mean you. If I tried anything, you'd remember me.
Well, that didn't occur to me. That would really be stupid of you.
I really only want to talk to her.
Sorry, but after all that happened to Stanya, I like to be careful.
So Stanya is here?
Aye. She's hiding with us. Since that thing happened, she's afraid to even go outside. I don't know what to do with her anymore.
Can I speak to her?
If it'll help you. She's hiding in that cottage.
Повезло, значит, кто-то выжил.
She's in a bad way. She used to be such a gutsy girl.
Ну все понятно, ну конечно запугали. Повезло, что ее никто не убил. Так, вот тут ее прячет. А, да, вот она. Вся грязная.
Who are you? How did you find me? If you came here to finish what you started, I'm not afraid of you. I'll claw your eyes out.
Don't be afraid. Barton told me where to find you.
Barton sent you to me. What do you want from me?
Lumiere thought you were dead. I was supposed to find out what happened to you.
Lumiere? From the rat house? He sent you?
Exactly. Someone killed a girl in Kuttenberg. Lumiere thought it might be connected with you, so maybe you could help us find out who did it.
How can I help you when I haven't been in Kuttenberg since... I don't even know when.
How are you now?
I'm still awful scared. I can't fall asleep knowing that, and I can't even really leave the house.
What was it like working in the hole?
Well, I earned a few groschen, that I did, but I often had to grit my teeth.
How so?
Every single day I had to put up with their lewd remarks. Rich or poor, everyone wants to grope a girl. People, well, us girls have to watch out. We can't just put up with it, and sometimes we have to be tough, especially in a place like the hole. But you can't overdo it either. That's no good.
How so?
Because if you smile at them nicely, then sometimes they leave a groschen, or even two. You have to keep a balance. To look friendly, but unavailable.
You said that rich or poor, they all like to grope girls. Like who?
Truth be told, the hole isn't exactly a good place for a rich man, but young von Groll used to go there for a while.
Is that so? Did he talk to you?
He smiled at me a lot, so I smiled back, but beyond a few groschen, there was nothing more to it. Then this thieving wench started hanging around him and... oh, it doesn't matter. But that servant of his didn't like it, tried to drive her away, and so the young lord stopped bringing him with him.
Von Groller had a servant with him?
Aye, a pudgy fella, well-dressed, but had a mean face. He never said a word or smiled, or even said thank you.
Why didn't you go back to the hole?
Just to get murdered there? Are you mad? I'm never going back there. Not until they catch him.
He disappeared from the hole in the wall without saying goodbye. Without a word. What happened?
Someone attacked me when I was coming home from the baths one night. I managed to get away, but I was so afraid. I decided to run away from Kuttenberg.
Did you see who it was?
Not at all. I didn't see anything until he jumped out of the shadows and grabbed me around the neck. And he was terribly strong. I nearly blacked out right away.
And how did you manage to break free?
I had an empty pitcher in my hand, and I hit him with it. He howled and let me go, and I ran away.
Here? To the charcoal burners?
No, first to my room in the hole. I was so scared there. I took what I could and ran. Here, to Barton.
And your lover? What did he say?
At first he was horrified, because I had cut myself on a shard from the pitcher and was all bloody. He's been hiding me here since then.
Do you remember anything important about the attacker? What he looked like? What he was wearing?
I don't know anything. It was at night. He grabbed me from behind, and then I ran and never turned back.
And what about when you hit him? What did he do?
He let me go and cursed.
Aha, and what did he say?
He said Scheiße in German.
Seems you're the only one to survive the killer's attack. I know it isn't easy for you to think about it, but try to remember something else about that moment, or when you were running away. Anything can help us, even if it seems insignificant.
I don't know. It's all like in a fog.
You were walking down the street. Did you notice anything before he attacked you?
No, nothing.
You didn't see anything or hear anything?
Actually, I knew the side street wasn't empty. I heard somebody talking, but when I looked, there was nobody there. So when somebody grabbed me, I completely froze.
Did you understand what they were talking about?
Not at all. But there were two voices. Two of them waiting for me there.
It's difficult, I understand. But I need you to think hard one more time. Aside from those voices and the empty street, what else do you remember?
I didn't hear him at all. And then he grabbed me.
And nothing else? Did he grab your hair?
Well, no. He grabbed me by the throat right away and squeezed. Just for a moment.
but I still had a big bruise round my neck for weeks. Barton said the man must have had a terribly strong grip, like a miner or swordsman.
I heard William liked pretending to be a spy. Do you know anything about that?
Aye, I thought it pretty silly. A stupid trick to make himself seem more interesting. Though I reckon he's more likely to attract an ass-kicking than a woman.
Couldn't it have been Father Prokop?
Father Prokop? I don't know him.
No, he's pretty old. He preaches in the Church of St. Peter and St. Paul.
I don't know him. And if he's an old man, how strong could his grip really be?
Couldn't it have been that innkeeper then? You yourself said he's a pig.
Aye, when he drinks, he turns into a total bastard. All lewd remarks and groping fingers. The lecher. Only when I got to my room, I could hear him snoring. It couldn't have been him.
You walked home from the baths at night?
What's so odd about that?
Well, at night, the baths are...
Ah, right. I went there after closing. I always brought the girls a pitcher of wine or ale and took a bath while they drank it.
Ah. So that's why you had the empty pitcher you hit him with?
Right. I went there regularly. Every week.
The same way every time?
Aye, always the same way. The shortest one. I didn't want to stay out too long at night.
And who knew that you went by yourself to the baths?
Well, everyone from the tavern, I reckon. I didn't hide it.
I reckon that'll be all.
I'm sorry I'm not able to help you more.
You don't need to apologise.
Thank you. Could I ask you for a favour?
If it's in my power.
When you catch that bastard, would you please let me know? So I can finally stop being afraid.
I'll stop by if I can.
Take care then.
Да, если схватим, заглянем к
Can I
ним
help you?
и расскажем, что это за фигня такая случилась.
What's that noise?
Бред какой-то. Сначала я не был на частной территории, сейчас на частной. Так давай и дверь закроем.
Can I help you?
Вдруг что-нибудь случится, фиг его знает. Ну куда нам дальше? Вы того Вильяма спрашивает, да? И тут чел сказал шайзе, значит на немецком. Так что... Что вот так получается. Ну хорошо, сейчас узнаем, кто на немецком разговаривает. Опа. Давай подеремся, конечно. Давно не было. Ну иди сюда. Вот я получил по башке, это плохо. Вот это хорошо. Еще один. Пока. Следующий. Не убежал, парень, не убежал. Кто там идет, такой рыцарь какой-то. Так что у него забрать можно. Да, ничего вроде бы ценного. Ты что, тоже со мной хочешь драться? Ладно, не будем тебя трогать, пошли дальше. Кстати, дополнительные задания сами появляются. Вроде бы их нигде не было, я все собрал. Тут вот видишь, одно, второе появилось. Так, куда нам надо? К этому Леопольду? Точнее, Липольду. Сначала к Вильяму сходим. Так, вот и корчма. Что там такое? Разобраться хотят с кем-то.
It's William, right? I need to talk to you.
What is it? Do we know each other? Do I owe you money?
My name's Henry, and no, we don't know each other, and you don't owe me money. But we do have something in common. We have a lot of mutual friends.
What? What do you want of me? I don't have to talk to you.
You don't need to. I can go and chat with the guards instead. Tell them you're the one hurting those girls.
What? I don't have anything to do with any girls.
Really? You? A notorious skirt chaser? Do you think anyone will believe you?
I just got back to the city. I don't know what you're trying to pin on me, but whatever it is, I didn't do it.
But everyone remembers you. You better spit it out before someone points the finger at you.
Come on. All right, then. Ask away.
Do you remember Zdena? You knew her, didn't you?
Do I know Zdena? As wild as the wind and always full of life. And those nimble fingers. You always had to check your purse around her.
Did she steal something from you?
A travelling minstrel doesn't have much to steal, but she was well aware of that. She was on the lookout for some better prey.
Well, Zdena's days of stealing are over.
They caught her. I told her she'd be better off travelling the world with me.
And worse, someone killed her. It's been a while now.
What? So she...
I'm afraid so.
Though I can't say I'm surprised. She robbed so many people. It was a matter of time before one of them got back at her.
You don't happen to know who she wanted to rob?
There were lots. Anyone she thought was rich enough who let her ply her charms for a while. Like young von Groller. When he started coming here, she got to him right away. Said she was gonna rob him blind.
And might she have stolen a ring from him?
I don't know. I had to disappear before she succeeded.
And I hear you knew Stanya.
Which one do you mean?
The alehouse wench from the hole. I heard you had something with her too.
Well, she batted her eyes at me a couple of times when I was still playing there. A nice girl, but I didn't know her much.
Someone wanted to kill her.
What? Her? Yeah, but... What does that have to do with me? It wasn't me, and I don't know anybody who'd want to do that either.
Well, the innkeeper Mole told me a different story. He said you were the one coming on to her.
Fine, we had a bit of fun together. But she was always the one who started it.
Before she gave you the boot for an ordinary charcoal burner.
That's not true. She'd been seeing that charcoal burner long before she met me.
And you didn't mind?
Why should I? I didn't want to marry her.
So what did you want from her then?
You're yanking my pizzle, right? Of course I wanted to fuck her, but no, we never got around to it.
And what about Alice? Did you know her?
I know a lot of Alice's. You have to be more specific.
The one they found dead somewhere below the town walls.
Oh, her. I didn't know her, but I heard about it.
I heard she used to go to dances.
Yeah, and? I'm not the only musician in the city. I really didn't know her.
They say she had a rich young suitor. Do you know anything about that?
Me? Do I look rich to you? I get paid in food.
But you could at least pass yourself off as wealthy.
Or I could claim to be the Virgin Mary, but I doubt anyone would believe me.
And did you ever meet Yarka? It was a long time ago, but I heard she used to hang around you a lot. And Father Prokop didn't like it.
Oh, that one. Aye, she was very keen on my company for a while, but then she stopped coming.
Because somebody killed her?
I know what happened was a tragedy, but it wasn't my fault. She stopped talking to me long before that. Honest.
And did you know she was pregnant?
What? Yarka was... That's horrible. Who would kill a pregnant woman?
That's what I'd like to find out. What about the unwilling father-to-be? It wouldn't happen to be yours, would it?
What? Mine? I never even got under her skirt. We just flirted a bit, and then she stopped coming by.
And can you tell me anything else about it?
I don't know anything. It was a long time ago. You said so yourself. Look, why are you asking me about all this? You don't seriously think I killed her, do you?
Well, you did know them all.
And? I'm surely not the only one.
That may be true. But everybody knows you're a skirt chaser, and they were all pretty girls. And now, they're dead.
But I had nothing to do with it!
Confess, or this won't end well for you.
What do you mean, won't end well?
If you come clean and get lucky, they'll hang you. If not, you'll get the rack. So, did you do it?
No, I didn't!
Good. I believe you. But if any clue leads me back here to you, I won't give you a second chance.
You won't hear about me again, I swear to God.
Понятно, короче, ну вроде бы не он, слушай, мне кажется. Куда он пошел? Давай проследим, кстати, за ним. Может, он куда-то отвезет нас?
Good doggy. Good boy.
Что очень интересно, или он просто пересел? Не, он, короче, просто пересел. Ладно, пойдем тогда рассказывать этому Лепольду. Просто заданий же больше нету. Ну да. Только я бы ему, конечно, не все рассказывал. Что-то есть и подозрения на него, если честно. Понимаешь, что он там искал и все дела, но кто знает. Никому нельзя верить. Так, ему как раз все отдам сразу, чтобы задание было выполнено.
I'm back, and I've got the mysterious monastery incense. It looks like wood chips soaked in sulfur. It stinks a bit.
They were smoking barrels with this. Sulfur is the stink of hell, and this is a monastery vineyard.
Maybe there's another reason. The miners in Skalitz used to say where there's sulfur, it's easier to breathe. Healthier air.
But it sticks to high hell.
So do many noble delicacies, and they're still delicious.
I suppose you're right. I'll give it a try. I hope it doesn't make my wine reek. Here's your reward. I added a bit more, as we agreed.
I almost forgot. I have the seedlings.
Ah! I'm curious what they'll grow into. You've made me doubly happy, Henry. So, here's a little something on top for you. Take care.
Неплохо я так подзаработал, слушай.
A sweet red, a sparkling white.
Так, а книжку ему отдать можно, нельзя? Странно как-то, короче.
A sweet red,
ну, видишь, с ним
a
даже
sparkling
не поговоришь.
white, a taste that will caress your soul.
Ладно, пошли тогда. Так, мне бы найти, где умыться. Блин, и непонятно, если честно, на кого это все указывает. Просто мне кажется, убийца где-то ныкается, надо еще кого-нибудь бы расспросить. Бляха, представляю, если я реально его отпустил, этого убийцу. Вильяма этого. Его будет, конечно, капец. Ну, вроде бы он не похож, не знаю. Конечно, ему тоже не доверяю, но... Что сделать? Мне бы для начала узнать, чей это перстень. Тогда да. Может, что-то и найдем. Ребята, тут умыться где-нибудь можно? Вот, да есть, а вот умыться точно нельзя. Это плохо. Так, куда я вообще прибежал? Потому что тут эти закоулки, фиг поймешь где. Так, по прямой и налево сразу же. Обычно гаража. И куда он пошел вот тут? Липольд. Понятно, вот он, наверное, стоит.
A new dress, eh? I reckon I should get something too.
Не, я перепутал.
I found out some interesting things about those murders. Just like you said.
That's wonderful news. But wait a while. I promised Catherine we'd wait for her.
You know Catherine?
She came to see me soon after you did, and started asking me questions. Just like you.
Will you send for her? So, we're all here.
I hope nobody else shows up. How did it go?
I reckon I've found out all I can.
And do you know who the murderer is?
Not exactly, but I have a few ideas.
I've asked around a bit, and I have my own suspicions.
Is that so? See, I was trying to recall some more details, and I had someone come to mind as well.
Oh, I didn't do all this for nothing, did I?
Well,
Well? Who do you suspect now?
Well, I'd say William did it. The minstrel.
You can't be serious. He's innocent.
Uh-huh. And who do you think it was?
Prokop. I'm sure of it.
No. Really? That's impossible. It couldn't have been him.
So I see we disagree. Too bad. We could have been done with it quickly.
Well, who do you think it was then?
I'm not entirely sure. First, I'll tell you what I found out, and then it might be easier for us.
Go on then. Starting with who?
Let's talk about Yarka, the one raised by Father Prokop.
What did you learn about her?
Prokop didn't just raise her out of the goodness of his heart. He was actually her uncle.
Really? But he still could have killed her.
His own relative?
Why not? He's a priest. I'm sure he knows the story of Cain and Abel.
Prokop also admitted that he didn't know how to handle her, and perhaps he was too strict.
What do you expect from a Bible thumper? Man punishes and God forgives. It never occurs to them that if man didn't punish, God wouldn't have to forgive.
Well, maybe I wouldn't hold it against him. He really tried to make sure she was well taken care of. He wanted to find her a husband, too.
And did you learn who he found?
No. I think it fell apart when Yarka started rebelling. Yarka started working for the von Groller family, where she remained until her death.
I was there to ask whether she'd given them any trouble, but they said she was always thorough and reliable.
Ah, so what's the story with von Grolls?
A very wealthy and important family. The mother is quite devout, known to spend a lot of time in prayer. Old von Groller's been sick for years. Can't even get out of bed.
So, who runs affairs?
That would be young Hendel. They say he's quite successful.
And now, most importantly, Yarka was pregnant when they killed her.
I didn't know that. Do you know for sure? So they gutted her?
To make it impossible to tell she was pregnant? I wouldn't be surprised.
May God forgive us.
Do you know who she was pregnant with? Because if we know who the father is, we'll likely know who the killer is.
She didn't tell Prokop.
It had to be someone from those dances. Maybe William.
Before her death, I heard she often went to dances.
There's nothing wrong or surprising about that. But maybe she found someone there.
Maybe. Prokop was convinced that she went to see William. That was actually the only name he mentioned.
That doesn't mean anything.
It means she had some relationship with William, or at least knew him.
Prokop is convinced that she was murdered by that bard, William.
And I agree with him. I heard the daughters of important men come to see him. It even went so far he had to flee the city. And the moment he's back, there's another murder.
Really? But I found out you accused Prokop first, Lumir.
What? Why?
It doesn't matter. It was a mistake, and I've paid for it.
And were you as sure then as you are now about William?
I don't think so. But he's a skirt chaser. If he got Yarka pregnant, then...
Perhaps. But why would he kill and mutilate her? He could have just run away.
But then he could never come back.
Why not? He could come back a year later, once things have died down, the child would be born, the shame forgotten, and nobody would bring it up again.
I suppose that makes sense. That's all I was able to find out.
You still found out more than I did.
But it's not enough. We still don't know who the killer is.
But we can agree that she was killed because of her pregnancy, can't we?
Agreed. Somebody got rid of her to make sure nobody found out she was pregnant.
I'm sure William wanted...
William isn't the only man with a prick. And he certainly didn't use it to strangle her to death.
Such language. What are you trying to say?
That William isn't the only man in the city. It could have been anyone. And now we'll never find out.
I'm not saying it couldn't have been him. Though I don't think it was. It just seems foolish to only focus on him.
I suppose you're right. Let's forget it.
I managed to find Zdenna.
By the sound of it, you didn't find her alive, did you?
No. Unfortunately, she's dead.
And where did you find her?
Pretty far away. Near the mill she used to sell things at. Someone caught her in the forest when she was coming home with a load of coin and killed her. I reckon she put up a hell of a fight. So the killer got nervous and ended things quickly.
So he didn't strangle or mutilate her?
She'd been lying in the woods for a long time, so I couldn't really tell. But he definitely didn't hack her up like the others. Zdenna tried to rob young von Grolle. It's possible she succeeded.
Von Grolle? Yarka worked for them, didn't she?
Ah, that whole family is suspicious.
Assumptions. Nothing more.
I'd say it's pretty obvious. Why else would I have found that ring on her?
They just left the ring by her body? That's odd, isn't it?
It wasn't by her body. It was inside of it. I don't know if she swallowed it herself or someone shoved it in her.
Ah, that's awful. But I can't say it surprises me.
Father Prokop came looking for Zdenna and nearly cursed her on the spot.
What did he have in common with a thief?
He had also looked after her, but unlike Yarka, she ended up on the street, and he took it badly. Judging by what her accomplice said, she robbed someone good. She had so much jewellery on her, she could hardly carry it. And what's odd is when she was murdered, the killer left her basket of valuables behind.
So I reckon he didn't kill her for the money.
She said someone followed her on horseback from Kuttenberg. She tried to lose him, but apparently wasn't able to.
On horseback? I don't suppose she described him, did she?
Only as a wealthy type who never got too close.
Ah, that doesn't fit in with the previous murders.
I managed to find Stanya.
Alive? You found her alive?
I did. Alive and well. Hiding with the charcoal burners.
So, she's not one of our victims?
She is. She just managed to escape the killer. She said she was attacked on her way home from the baths. She heard somebody talking in a side street, but it was empty. But when she walked by, someone grabbed her by the throat and started strangling her.
And how did she manage to get away?
She was holding an empty pitcher, and she smashed the killer in the face with it. He either got startled or hurt, but he let her go.
Did she get a look at him? Did she take his eye out or something?
No, she didn't stop to find out. Just ran. Which is probably why she survived.
And what about the blood in the bedroom?
She cut her hand on the broken pitcher. She didn't stay in her room for long. She was still so scared that she grabbed her things and ran off to her beloved charcoal burner. Stanya admitted that she knows William. He flirted with her and tried to get to know her better, but nothing came of it.
And that's probably why I wanted to kill her. And likely rape her before that.
Well, perhaps, but Stanya doesn't think so. She's sure it wasn't William, and no matter what they say about him, in her eyes he's a good lad. I asked Stanya if she knew Prokop. She said no.
Maybe she just doesn't remember him. Or he gave a different name, or...
I don't think Father Prokop is the type to frequent the worst tavern in Kuttenberg.
Besides that, she also recalled hearing 2 voices in the alley. Someone was talking to the killer.
So we have a witness. Now, just to find him.
Or an accomplice. If I remember correctly, the other one must have seen the whole thing, right? And he didn't go to report it.
According to Stanya, the murderer didn't say a word the entire time.
That's strange, right? I'd expect him to at least call her a whore.
The only word he uttered was when she smashed him in the face with the pitcher. He said Scheisse.
So, we're looking for a German?
Even I say Scheiße sometimes, and I'm not German.
Well, according to Stanya, the murderer had a terribly strong grip. Her neck was bruised for almost a month.
Doesn't almost every man have a strong grip?
Depending on what they take in hand every day. A tankard, a quill, or a hammer.
Except none of our suspects are miners or blacksmiths, eh? She also said she was sure it wasn't Mole. He may be a pig, but the evening she ran home, he was in bed snoring. She said she returned from the baths in the evening regularly, and somebody knew exactly which way she would take and where to wait for her.
You mean someone followed her beforehand to figure out where to ambush her?
Who knew that she went to the baths?
Apparently everyone in the tavern. She didn't hide the fact, and that's all that Stanya told me.
I'm so glad that girl is alive.
Me too. At least someone's had a little luck. Does she want to come back, or will she stay with the charcoal burners?
I don't think she'll come back. She's so scared now they'll come back for her, she doesn't even leave the house. My mouth is starting to hurt from all this blabbering.
So are my ears and head.
Come now, we're nearly there. We just need to find our suspect. So, Henry, who do you think did it?
Я, если честно, даже не знаю, что сказать. Я просто вот не разговаривал с этим фон Гролли. Если честно, если бы Катерина устроилась бы в корчму, ну и немножко там бы побыла, и вот так же бы кувшин носила туда, ну... Короче, на нее бы засаду устроили, мы бы узнали, кто это. А так, видишь, не получается. Я даже не знаю.
I suspect one of the Von Grollers.
What leads you to think that?
Are you sure it wasn't William?
Zdeno robbed Von Grolle.
That's true.
It's all coming together, isn't it?
Zdeno was followed by someone on a horse. Von Grolle could afford a horse.
That's not so sure, is it? And maybe the horse was stolen or borrowed.
But it certainly worsens the case for him. That much is true.
Yarka was pregnant. And if the father was young Von Grolle, it would make sense if he got rid of her.
Sakura, you're right.
But William could have fucked her too. Just saying.
Alice had a young and wealthy suitor. And young Von Grolle fits both descriptions.
True, true.
We could be getting somewhere.
Yarka was their maidservant until she started rebelling, right?
Yes. Do you think she was rebelling because of someone in particular?
Perhaps the young lord?
That's possible.
And that's all I can pin on him.
So, do we agree that it was young Von Groll?
Well, old Von Groller can't do much now, can he?
So do we really agree that our most likely suspect is young Von Grolle?
Aye. I agree.
I don't have a problem with it. Little rich boys are capable of anything. But what are we gonna do about it? Our suspicions aren't enough.
They'll just laugh at us without something more tangible.
So, you want to search their house?
There's nothing else we can do. There must be a clever way to do it.
We have to find some evidence. None of our conjecture is enough. What will we do?
You could sneak in there.
Or break in.
Catherine, that's not necessary. The young lad wants to learn swordsmanship, and the old one is sick and always calling for a physician.
So I can either pretend to be a sawbones, or a swordsman, or break in? That's a lot of options.
You're a clever lad. You'll figure it out.
Ну да, разберемся, только я вот, конечно, не знаю, как лучше. Так, я сегодня вообще бадью найду, чтобы вымыться или нет, это буду весь в крови ходить.
Be careful.
Наконец-то. Так, сейчас давай посмотрим, где дом этого юного фон Граля. Пробраться в дом. Давай проберемся, попробуем. Так, вообще я туда иду, не туда. То мне не нравится, что на карте не показано задание.
Burnt at the stake for poisoning. Because of you.
Да, пока я этот дом найду, пройдет 100 лет. Надо закончить, конечно, за сегодня серию. Это, конечно, длинная будет. Так, а сейчас где этот дом находится? Ну вот, видишь, тут рядом.
You can't be here.
Пока поговорить с вами можно?
Can I help you?
Is this the house of the von Grolle family?
Yes?
I'm Henry of Skalitz. Master Menhard from Frankfurt sent me to train young Master Hendel in sword fighting.
I'm sorry, but I know nothing about it.
Are you telling me I'm not expected? The Master Swordsman won't be pleased.
No, this is surely my mistake. But isn't it a bit late? You won't get much practice in with him now.
When should I come then?
Best before noon. The young master will be well rested and full of strength. Take care and good night.
Понятно, придется ждать. Придется ждать, а ждать придется долго. Либо просто реально пробраться в этот дом. Почему бы и нет? Ай, пофиг, давай подождем, проберемся просто и все. Почему бы и нет? Так, я думаю, нужно переодеться, точнее снять одежду, чтобы меня меньше слышали. Да, шум вообще 20 создает, отлично. Как раз войти можно. Тут никого и не будет. Ну что, погнали тогда. Обыскивать дом. Не понял я этого прикола. Что тут еще люди ходят, я не могу понять. Ну, все спят уже, но хорошо, что нету такого, что нарушения закона. Сейчас, наверное, будет, если я в комнату какую-то зайду, правильно? Так, давай тут проверим, что там. Так, давай дверьку закроем. Вот он. Чел, давай его ограбим. Ключи же должны быть. Так, нет этого сундука, наверное, да? Не, видишь, нет этого. Вот этого. И что тут есть? Ничего тут нет. Давай тогда искать, может, тут что найдем. Хотя, если честно, вообще ничего не вижу, что тут может быть. Видишь, тоже ничего. Так, вот тут что-то разбросано. Опа, какой-то ключик. Что это за трофей такой?
What the hell? That's hair. All kinds of brown. I bet it belonged to those dead girls. If this isn't proof, nothing is.
Капец. Уже козлина, бляха. Ну больше я же ничего вроде бы не нашел. Вот тебе и доказательства. Все, валим туда отсюда. Будем тогда его арестовывать, этого козла. Так, давай я оденусь. Ну и надо бы, конечно, если честно, выспаться. Что, вроде бы все надел. Все, отлично. Погнали туда. Давай поедем туда поспим.
Easy.
Уже козел, я так и знал, что это он. Потому что, видишь, мы даже с ним не разговаривали. А на тех, ну, в принципе, там улик не слишком много было. Дурак даже пяди волос хранит. Вот и попался.
Whoa.
It happens.
Ugh, it's late. What do you want from me? Take care, friend.
А, повезло, еще снята комната. Что отлично.
I'm sorry.
I apologize.
Давай, проходи быстрее. Мне интересно, кто второй был. Там же сообщник какой-то был. Думаю, тут расколется козел. Бляха, такой неприятный звук.
Easy, good horse.
Тихо тут. Повезло, что тут недалеко хотя бы. Так, вот эта хата вроде бы. Что, они тут еще сидят, мне интересно? А, ну да, он сидит.
I need to discuss that visit to the Von Grollers.
Excellent. Let's find Catherine. You can tell us everything.
I think we were right. Something seriously fishy there.
Well, don't keep us in suspense. What did you find out?
You found something there, didn't you? Evidence?
I certainly did. In the young lord's room.
What was it?
This. He had it in a chest in his room. Locks of hair. All brown, but all a bit different. They're definitely from those murdered girls.
Hair? But That's not enough. That definitely won't suffice as proof.
Why wouldn't it? He took them as a keepsake from the dead girls, as a trophy. It was him.
But nobody will believe us. We need more than just hair. A bloody dress or the murder weapon.
To be honest, I don't think we're going to find anything like that. They're pretty careful to cover their tracks.
Damn it. We're fucked. If we at least had a witness.
And what about 3 witnesses at once?
Where are you going to find 3 witnesses when you don't even have one?
I don't yet, but... Look, we're almost certain young Hendel did it. So what if we set a trap and catch him in the act?
And how do you want to do that? I mean, we don't know who he's planning to murder next.
We'll set someone up. Some brunette.
You want to sacrifice some poor girl?
No, nobody's going to get hurt. We'll be keeping our eye on her the whole time.
The only one I can think of is Stanya. And I highly doubt that she'd want to risk her life again.
She won't have to. I'll do it.
But you haven't had anything to do with him. He'll see through it immediately. It'll fail.
We'll wait until the lad's out of the house. Maybe we'll dress Catherine up a bit, and she'll go asking for the young lord, father of her child. When Hendel comes home and hears what happened, he'll come looking for her to fix things up.
I'll cause such a scene, they'll be talking about it for years. Then we'll tell them where he can find me, and we've got him.
If you say so. But where can we do it? We can't do it here. They'd figure it out pretty quick.
We can use one of the rooms here in the tavern. It has only one way out. You'll be hiding across the way, and jump out at the right moment. I repeat, at the right moment.
Don't worry. We won't take our eyes off you.
Ну, давай так и провернем, кстати.
Where's Hendel? I need to talk to him! Do you hear me? I have to talk to him about our wedding. I won't be left alone with his child.
What are you screeching about, you ninny? There's no Hendel here. Certainly not for the likes of you.
Do you hear that, folks? He fucks me from all sides. Gets me with child, and now he doesn't want to know me. Get rid of her. Disgrace. Oh, so a poor woman has to suffer because of a man's lust. As if it wasn't already bad enough before.
What lies are you spouting, you strumpet? Goodman Hendel never laid eyes on you. Besides, you're too old for him. Nobody will believe your lies.
Old am I? He came to me himself because he wanted a mature woman to breed with. And he never even pulled it out. And he filled me up like a wineskin. Suit yourself. I'll give you some time to think it over. But either you come up with an offer of marriage by evening, or first thing in the morning I'll go to the bailiff. And I'll be damn sure to get justice from him. It's open.
I've come to talk with you.
Where's Hendel? Hendel? You wanton whore! Debauching my son! A nanny goat like you! The others were at least young, but you! Christ, the trials I have to endure! A husband with both feet in the grave and a son who'll fuck anything with a hole in it. Slice her up so no one will recognize her, and in case what she says is true, got her to.
Gutting, is it? I can help you with that.
Get that bitch, you fool!
А почему их было двое? Что это за прикол такой? Хана тебе, парень. Получается, это не он, что ли, делал? Шли быстрее, ту словили хотя бы бабу.
Catherine, wait!
What should I wait for? I'm gonna cut that bitch's throat.
How dare you? Hands off, you heretical scum!
Shut up!
Let her speak. I still don't understand what actually went on here. I have some questions for you.
I'll tell you nothing, you serpent! Nothing! You can't keep me here! Let me go! I'm a woman of worth!
If you won't speak now, then the executioner will loosen your tongue when your feet start burning. But why wait, right? I'll cut your ear off. Maybe both of them. All you need to talk is a tongue.
No! Let me go!
Do you realize you also killed girls who had nothing to do with Hendel?
That's not possible. I saw them all with my own two eyes, chatting with him and giggling.
And what about that alehouse wench?
That strumpet. I saw how she treated him. It's a damned shame she got away.
But she really had nothing to do with Hendel.
She wouldn't have smiled at him the way she did if she didn't want to fornicate with him. They all deserved it. Every single one. And better sooner than later. That trollop in our service even got herself with child. And she wanted to keep it. The slut.
And what about Zdenna? All she did was rob him, and you killed her anyway.
She fawned over him like all the others. He even gave her a ring, which she probably sold immediately. She deserved it. She was a thief, and stealing is a mortal sin.
А убийство не смертный грех? Бля, она такую чепуху несет, это капец, коза. Я думал, это молодой этот пацан, а оказалось, видишь кто.
And what about Hendel? Did he know what you were doing?
That I was taking care of his immortal soul and eliminating his temptation? Of course not. But one day he'll be grateful to me for it.
He's going to jump for joy. His mother a mad woman, and his servant a murderer.
Speak politely to me, you whore.
Henry, if you have any more questions, you'd better ask them quickly. I'm sorely tempted to finish this here and now.
Да режь ее тут, хрен с ней, если честно, это капец, конечно.
And what about the hair in Hendel's chest? You're trying to tell me he wasn't involved, but he was keeping their hair?
Well, he kept asking about those whores of his. So we always brought him a lock of hair. We told him it was from them, as a parting gift.
Well, he didn't find that strange?
Out of sight, out of mind. He always found some new harlot anyway.
Why did you do it, for Christ's sake?
Don't blaspheme, you heathen.
Come on, answer him or it's gonna hurt.
My husband. He drank a lot, ran around with whores and didn't pray enough. And God punished him for it. I couldn't allow the same thing to happen to Hendel.
And why kill those girls? Why not just talk to him about it?
I tried, but he wouldn't listen to me. He told me he wanted to sow his wild oats before finding a wife.
So your own son didn't listen to you? And you started killing the girls who were...
Who seduced him and emboldened him with their brazenness? If they wanted to whore themselves out, they'll pay for it in hell. But there's no way they were going to drag my Hendel there with them.
Хана, короче, ей. Просто можно даже здесь ее убить.
There was no blood where Alice was found. Where did you kill them?
That was up to Thaddeus. He told me something about an abandoned barn. I only told him to cut them up thoroughly.
Why?
Why? As a warning. So those whores knew what awaited them. To put the fear of God in them.
I'd better stop asking questions.
Burn in hell! All of you!
What'll we do with her now?
Let's take her to the bailiff. She'll get justice there.
We don't have to go anywhere. I'll give her justice right here, right now.
But we can't do that. She has to go before the court. The law must be upheld.
Did you hear her? I mean, she hasn't got her head on straight. And what judgment will there be? She's from a wealthy family. Nothing will happen to her.
Don't you dare judge me. Only God can do that.
Shut your mouth, you sow. You judged and punished some random girls, and now you'll blaspheme like that?
Our Lord directed me. I did it through His will.
Do you hear that? And you want to let her live?
But that's not justice. It's murder. Henry, won't you say something?
I told you,
Я бы,
don't
если честно,
you
ее
dare judge
убил.
me.
Но мне вот
I
интересно
am a
посмотреть,
servant of
будет
God.
казнь или нет. Просто если не будет казни никакой, то я лучше сам проберусь с ней в дом и просто кокну.
Put away that knife, Catherine. We'll hand her over to the law.
Don't tell me you'd let her get away with it.
She's not going to get away with anything. She killed so many people. If she's lucky, they'll just hang her. If not, she'll be buried alive.
That's right. We caught her in the act, and she's confessed to us. They can't just let her go.
Of course they can. It's I scratch your back, you scratch mine. You'll see that all these rich burgher and lords have their own justice.
That won't happen. I guarantee you she...
You can't guarantee a thing. You're not the bailiff and you won't be judging her.
She's right, though. We can't just let her out into the streets. She must be punished. And if not, then you can always go and pay her a visit, right? You know very well who she is.
All right then, you last of the righteous. Take that viper away and may God protect you if they set her free.
Don't worry. I'll take her away.
Well, this was a lot stranger than I expected. Do you think we did the right thing?
I'm not sure of anything anymore. Not even myself. Can we just be quiet for a while?
As you wish. But still, it was damned odd.
Aye, that it was. Let's go and see Lumia. I wonder how he fared.
Tell us, Lumir. How did it turn out?
Did it end well? Oh, we're not going to get into trouble now, are we?
It ended well, and I didn't even tell anyone about you.
And how did it go? Did she try to blame it all on her dead servant?
Not at all. She started screaming how she hadn't done anything wrong, that those Czech whores deserved it.
Fucking shameless bitch. The nerve.
I think it's more likely she's gone mad from it all. No sane person would consider that a defense of their actions.
A sane person doesn't kill random women walking by.
Exactly. And what do they plan to do with her?
They're discussing it, and will surely continue to do so. Maybe they'll execute her, but more likely they'll lock her up somewhere and let her fester.
I told you so!
She won't escape punishment, and won't hurt anyone else again. Maybe she'll live, but now they can't pretend nothing happened.
And what will you do, Catherine? Will you stay here?
My work isn't done yet. I have to work in the tavern here, and then we'll see. Maybe I'll find work elsewhere.
Do you think we could have done better?
Everything can always be done better. The most important is to do it well and quickly.
Catherine is right. I'll still be kicking myself. Maybe to my dying day. But none of us did anything bad.
That's not entirely true.
I'm talking about innocent people. No more girls died because of you. And that's good.
And what will you do now? Will you go back to the town hall, Lumir?
It's true I've made amends in the eyes of the law, but I probably won't go back now. Maybe better to write something about it. Who knows?
Won't you go back to drinking?
No, it didn't help anything, did it? If I had just persevered instead, I should have pity those girls, and not myself.
Don't fret. It was a terrible mess, and all three of us had to put our heads together.
Yes. You helped me when I was in need and didn't even know it. Maybe I'll just keep helping as long as I can.
Helping others is the best thing a person can do in this world.
Well, let's go our separate ways.
Thank you, lad. You prevented future murders, and you also saved me. And for that, I will be eternally grateful.
I thank you both. Without you, the devil knows how it would have turned out.
Here you are, as a keepsake. And perhaps as a reward. And if you ever pass by, look us up.
Yes, here is a reward, Henry. And Lumiere, we shall certainly meet again.
Ну что, вот все и разрешилось. Всем спасибо за просмотр.